After 50, the body begins to reveal a quiet truth that was easy to ignore in youth. Strength is no longer about how much force you can produce, but how wisely that force is applied. For decades, many people rely on squats as the ultimate symbol of lower body power. They look efficient, familiar, almost heroic. Yet the aging body interprets them differently. Joints that once absorbed load effortlessly now carry small histories of wear, inflammation, and reduced cartilage resilience. In this environment, repeating a movement that compresses the spine and knees can feel productive on the surface while subtly increasing stress beneath it. The glutes, however, offer a different story, one rooted not in brute force but in biological intelligence. The glute muscles are among the largest and most influential muscles in the human body, but their true role is often misunderstood. They are not designed merely to push weight upward, they exist to stabilize the pelvis, guide hip motion, and protect the spine during movement. After 50, these roles become more important than raw strength. Prolonged sitting, reduced activity, and habitual movement patterns gradually teach the brain to rely less on the glutes and more on secondary muscles. The knees begin to absorb shock meant for the hips, and the lower back starts compensating for hips that no longer generate power efficiently. This redistribution of effort is subtle, but over time it reshapes posture, gait, and pain patterns. Scientific research on aging muscles shows that strength loss is closely tied to neural decline, not just muscle tissue itself. The brain's signal to the glutes weakens with disuse, leading to delayed activation during movement. Squats demand coordinated firing across multiple joints, and when the glutes fail to engage at the right moment, the body defaults to vulnerable structures. Targeted glute exercises interrupt this cycle. They reduce complexity, isolate intention, and give the nervous system a clear message: this muscle matters. Studies using electromyography consistently demonstrate higher glute activation in controlled hip-dominant movements compared to traditional squats, especially in older adults. There is also a mechanical elegance to glute-focused work. Movements like bridges, kickbacks, and step-backs load the hips while minimizing spinal compression. This matters because spinal discs naturally dehydrate with age, becoming less tolerant of repeated vertical loading. When exercises respect this reality, the body responds with reduced pain and improved confidence. Strength returns quietly, not as explosive power but as stability, smoother walking, and the absence of fear during everyday tasks. What often surprises people is how challenging these exercises feel despite their simplicity. That challenge comes not from weight, but from reawakening dormant muscle fibers and restoring timing. The body is relearning an old language. Over time, this improved glute function creates a ripple effect. Knees track more cleanly, posture lifts without effort, and movements feel supported rather than forced. The science aligns with experience here, showing that joint health improves when force is redirected to muscles designed to handle it, and in this shift, the body begins to move with a sense of quiet cooperation rather than resistance. As the body ages, muscle loss is often described in terms of shrinking fibers or declining strength, but the deeper change happens in communication. The nervous system, which once sent sharp, precise signals, begins to speak more softly to certain muscles, and the glutes are among the first to be affected. Years of sitting, predictable routines, and reduced movement variety teach the brain that these muscles are optional. They become slow to respond, late to activate, and eventually forgotten in complex movements. This is why many people over 50 feel strong yet unstable, capable of effort but unsure of control. The science of neuromuscular aging shows that this loss is less about muscle damage and more about timing. When the brain's signal arrives late, other muscles step in to finish the job. The lower back tightens, the knees absorb force, and the hips lose their central role. Squats demand synchronized firing across the hips, spine, and knees, and when that timing is off, the movement reinforces compensation rather than correction. Targeted glute exercises change the rules. They slow the process down and give the nervous system a single, clear task, allowing precision to return before intensity is added. Exercises such as hip bridges, controlled step backs, and standing extensions are powerful not because they isolate the muscle mechanically, but because they isolate attention neurologically. Research on motor unit recruitment shows that slower, intentional movements increase neural drive to underactive muscles, especially in older adults. This improved signaling enhances coordination and restores confidence in movement. The muscle is no longer just growing stronger, it is becoming reliable again. Another overlooked benefit is fatigue quality. Heavy compound movements often exhaust the cardiovascular system or overload joints before the target muscle is truly trained. Glute-focused work creates local fatigue where it matters, teaching the brain that effort can exist without pain. This distinction is critical after 50, when fear of discomfort often limits consistency. The body learns that movement can be demanding yet safe, challenging yet controlled. Over time, this restored communication reshapes everyday actions. Standing up becomes smoother, walking feels more supported, and balance improves without conscious effort. Strength emerges not as domination over the body, but as cooperation within it. The brain regains trust in the hips, and the hips respond with stability, creating a quiet loop of confidence that supports movement long after the exercise itself has ended. Balance becomes an unspoken priority after 50, not because people think about falling every day, but because the body quietly starts negotiating with gravity. What once felt automatic now requires subtle correction. Squats, by nature, train the body to produce force in a straight line, yet daily life rarely moves that way. We step back, shift sideways, turn unexpectedly, and recover from missteps. These are moments when balance is tested, and they rely heavily on the glutes to stabilize the pelvis and guide the body's center of mass. Glute exercises that involve single leg support or backward movement challenge the nervous system in a fundamentally different way. They awaken proprioception, the body's internal sense of position and movement. With age, this system dulls, not from injury but from underuse. Research in movement science consistently shows that hip stability is one of the strongest predictors of balance and fall resistance in older adults. When the glutes engage properly, they act like anchors, giving the brain reliable feedback about where the body is in space. These movements do more than build strength, they train reaction. A slow step back or controlled single leg hinge teaches the nervous system to sense instability early and respond smoothly. Instead of stiffening or panicking, the body learns to adjust. This adaptability is the foundation of confidence. Balance is not about standing still, it is about recovering gracefully from motion. As glute strength and coordination improve, everyday movements begin to change. Walking feels quieter, less jarring. Turning no longer creates hesitation. The fear of missteps fades, replaced by trust in the body's ability to correct itself. In this way, glute training becomes a form of preventive medicine, not dramatic or intense, but deeply protective. It restores a dialogue between muscles and nerves that keeps the body upright, responsive, and free to move through the world with assurance rather than caution. Pain is often misunderstood, especially after 50, because it rarely signals catastrophic damage. More often, it is the body whispering about imbalance, misalignment, and compensation. Chronic knee or lower back pain frequently arises when the glutes are underperforming, forcing other structures to carry loads they were not designed to bear. Squats can sometimes amplify this problem, compressing joints before the underlying weakness is addressed. Glute-focused exercises, however, redistribute effort where it belongs, guiding force through the hips rather than overtaxing knees or spine. Biomechanics research confirms that strengthening the glutes stabilizes the pelvis, reduces compressive stress on the lumbar spine, and improves gait patterns. Movements like bridges, hip extensions, and lateral walks work within safe ranges while restoring natural alignment. Over time, this rebalancing reduces pain not by masking it, but by correcting the root cause. The body begins to move more efficiently, and movements once associated with discomfort, standing from a chair, climbing stairs, walking briskly, become smoother. Pain transforms from a warning into a guide, teaching the importance of strength in the right places. By focusing on the glutes, we respect the body's design and allow it to function optimally, preserving comfort and mobility long after 50. There is a quiet philosophy in glute training after 50, one that blends science with a deeper understanding of the body's wisdom. These exercises slow us down, demand focus, and reward patience. Unlike high-intensity squats that push the body to its limits, glute-focused movements honor the history written in joints, muscles, and connective tissue. They ask for attention, not aggression, and in return, they restore trust in the body's capacity to move safely and efficiently. Scientific studies support this approach, showing that consistency, control, and precise activation produce more lasting strength than sheer intensity in older adults. By choosing movements that emphasize quality over quantity, we redefine what strength means. It is no longer measured by how much weight can be lifted but by how confidently we rise from a chair, how steadily we walk, and how comfortably we navigate daily life. The glutes become allies, stabilizing the hips, supporting posture, and enabling fluid movement. Strength, in this sense, is a partnership between body and mind, a reflection of care and attentiveness. After 50, this partnership becomes essential, transforming exercise from a task into a practice of respect, alignment, and sustained vitality.